The sandwich slinger wins again. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. A federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. has now rejected Trump Justice Department efforts to indict Sean Dunn. Recently, in Washington, the 37-year-old started yelling at federal law enforcement officers and then went even further to the expletive-filled delight of onlookers.
Motherfucker. Oh! 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 He cooked him! He cooked him!
Police eventually caught Dunn, arrested him, and took him to D.C. Superior Court, where he was released. A few days later, the Trump Justice Department charged Dunn with a felony, but a judge blocked the charge, saying it was excessive. And now, the Trump Justice Department has been rebuked again, this time by a federal grand jury. Headline: Prosecutors failed to secure indictment against man who threw a sandwich at federal agent. Quote, federal prosecutors on Tuesday were unable to persuade a grand jury to approve a felony indictment against a man who threw a sandwich at a federal agent on the streets of Washington this month, according to two people familiar with the matter. The grand jury's rejection of the felony charge was a remarkable failure by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, and the second time in recent days that a majority of grand jurors refused to vote to indict a person accused of felony assault on a federal agent. It also amounted to a sharp rebuke by a panel of ordinary citizens against the prosecutors assigned to bring charges against people arrested after President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops and federal agents to fight crime and patrol the city's streets. It is extremely unusual for prosecutors to come out of a grand jury without obtaining an indictment, because they are in control of the information that grand jurors hear about a case, and defendants are not allowed to have their lawyers in the room as evidence is presented. That's why there's an old saying that prosecutors could get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. But not in this case, where a man threw a sandwich and the grand jurors concluded that charging him with a felony would be excessive. The grand jury rejection is a major humiliation for the Trump administration's D.C. U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro. Soon after the sandwich toss, she posted this.
An individual went up to one of the federal law enforcement officers and started jumping up and down, screaming at him, berating him, yelling at him. And then he took a Subway sandwich about this big and took it and threw it at the officer. He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony, assault on a police officer, and we're going to back the police to the hilt.
Unless, of course, they aren't January 6 rioters. The Trump administration pardoned all of them. Attorney General Pam Bondi's lack of self-awareness has been even worse. And the grand jury decision in the Dunn case is also a rebuke to her. Bondi had written about Dunn, "If you touch any law enforcement officer, we will come after you. I just learned this defendant worked at the Department of Justice. No longer. Not only is he fired, he has been charged with a felony." But again, the grand jury said no. The Trump administration could file a misdemeanor against Dunn, which would not require a grand jury's approval. Either way, Dunn has become something of a hero in Washington, D.C., and a symbol of the resistance against the Trump administration's deployment of federal troops. And let's be clear, Dunn's actions were harmless and relatively peaceful, especially if you compare his sandwich toss to the January 6 rioters that the Trump administration pardoned.
Multiple capital injuries! Multiple capital injuries!
The MAGA maniacs threw flagpoles at police, swung pieces of wood, and fired pepper spray, among other things. Altogether, the MAGA January 6 mob injured more than 140 police officers. It's not clear if the grand jury in the sandwich slinger case took into account the Trump administration pardons of the January 6 rioters. Either way, justice in the sandwich slinger case has been served. Sean Dunn deserves no punishment beyond perhaps a fine to pay for a cop's dry cleaning. That could be part of the misdemeanor once the Trump administration comes to its senses and tries to work out a plea deal. In the meantime, the people of Washington, D.C. have spoken. The sandwich slinger has won again, and the Trump Justice Department has been rebuked. Sean Dunn's sandwich toss and grand jury investigation is not going to change history, but it has exposed the Trump team's utter insanity and hypocrisy. And the grand jury's clear conclusion on all of this is delicious. By the way, other residents of Washington, D.C. recently forwarded Trump ICE agents in the streets. Masked federal agents are being forced to retreat, do the walk of shame, and in some cases find new vehicles. In Los Angeles, that ICE SUV was parked illegally on the sidewalk, so a tow truck driver pulled the vehicle away as delighted bystanders showered the agents with expletives.
Yo no soy una criminal.
You touched me and I'm gonna F you up, said the man in the black jacket to ICE. He apparently called or helped the tow truck driver. Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from writer Rachel, who wrote, "How do we like our ICE? Crushed." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about a federal grand jury crushing the Trump Justice Department and siding with the sandwich slinger. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.